Welcome, everybody, to the Fierce and Flowing podcast. I'm Monique, and I have a very special guest today who's been in my life for quite a while. I don't even know how many years.
Hey, be careful, be careful.
Yeah, I know. I know.
It's spaceless time and timeless space.
There you go. There you go. And just get ready because things like what he just said, you're going to have a chock full of them, in this hour. And so let me tell you about Dr. Larry Goodman. I'm reading from his bio, but then we're going to jump into, what's exciting him today. So Dr. Larry Goodman is a chiropractor and skilled kinesthesiologist, trained in acupuncture, clinical nutrition, and psychology, has a track record of success that has made him a highly sought after physician specializing in whole person healthcare for over 30 years. And in addition to that, in those qualifications, he has a level 2 certification in neuro emotional technique, NET, which we'll definitely talk about today, and the DeMartini method, as well as many other personal growth and empowerment techniques. And, it's not in here, Larry, or maybe I just didn't get to it. He's also an author,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
of Your Goodest
And I'm
Life.
fun to and I'm fun to have at parties.
You are very fun to have in parties, right? And, we talk sometimes astrology elements in this
Yeah.
podcast, and all I can
So in
say,
case anybody's wondering, the book, there's the power of an affirmation. For
yeah,
many years, I would make the affirmation that I was a speaker, a teacher, a writer, and a coach.
yes,
And I started to work with a client who was my Friday morning 9 a.m. client. True story. And
yes.
he calls me one day from Barnes and Noble and he says, I've got the title of our book. And I said, excuse me? What are you talking about? He says, well, I've been taking notes at our sessions. And I said, okay, yeah, I know. And he says, Tuesdays with Maury?
Yep.
I said, uh-huh. He says, our book is Fridays with Goodman. So because he was my Friday morning 9 a.m. client.
Absolutely.
So in case anybody's wondering and you want to get it at Amazon, whatever, it's called Fridays with Goodman. And
Yes.
it's really real.
It's really real. It's really good. You'll fly through it
It's
and you're
not a
just gonna,
very big
no,
book, but
no.
it's filled with big ideas.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Larry, for
Okay.
dropping that because I do want people to get your book and read it because it's magnificent. And I'll say before we jump into, the first question I always ask on this podcast, I remember I was giving a talk at Miami-Dade College and one of your friends slash client,
Andres,
yes,
Andres, yes.
Andres, came up to me afterwards because I was talking about energy, and that's usually, unfortunately, something that doesn't come up too often in education, right? And um, and so he came up to me and he's like, I want you to meet someone. He's a chiropractor, but he wants to become a coach and yada yada. He kept going on. And here I am thinking to myself, absolutely. I love to develop people. I love to, help in whatever way I can for people to get on their path, their authentic path. And I remember sitting with you in our first conversation and listening to you. And we said, you know what, we'll get together again. And it was like maybe a month later where you just completely transformed into this like incredible coach and master of wisdom overnight. And I was like,
Well,
I literally,
overnight, if you don't count I'm
yes,
I say these days, I'm an overnight sensation, 68 years in the
there
making.
you go. Like
Yeah,
to your point
yeah.
of these intentions and affirmations and speaking life into what and who we already are. We just have to create the energetic space for it, right?
Yes.
And you have just been flying, ever since, and it's been so beautiful to watch and experience, and also to have your support, right? When I
For
have
sure.
needed it, yeah, over this last decade, I guess. And
Has it
but
really been a decade?
well,
I
yes,
I remember we videoed a program for you when you had that corporate thing go on.
it was a commercial with
Yeah.
Ford. It was so that commercial, Larry, was in 2018.
Oh my God.
And we knew each other before, way before that.
Yes,
So that
yes.
just gives you an idea,
Okay.
yeah, of how, again, time has been flying, but in a beautiful way.
Yes.
And so speaking of time and our evolution, um, I fully recognize that through our lifetime, we have so many moments that are really critical to our transformation, to our evolution. This podcast is called Fierce and Flowing for a reason, because I want to shed light on those really important moments where we show up very fierce for ourselves, right? Where we set aside the fear, where we set aside what other people are going to think, where we are just tired of being who we were so that we can fully step into who we are and those critical junctures. So I know that you have had many of those moments in your life because we've talked about many of them. But today, I'd love for you to share one of those fierce moments that we can just kind of dive into, whether it was recent or a long time ago.
First of all, thank you for having me be here. Thank you for being in my life the way that you have been, and for giving me the space to show up in your life as I get to show up. And God, to pick a moment. Um, so 2.5 years ago, seems like only yesterday, I had gone to a spinning class. It was a Thursday night, and the class was, I don't, there was nothing especially memorable about the class to me at the time, except it seemed a little more difficult than usual.
Right.
And I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, drenched in sweat, with pain in my chest. and, and
You
I
can laugh
thought,
about it now, right?
yeah, and I thought to myself, well, this is interesting. Um, I'll see if the sweating stops and the chest pain stops, and if it does, I'm going to go back to sleep.
Says the doctor.
Says the doctor. Yes.
Yeah.
So the sweating stopped, the chest pain stopped, and I went to sleep. And I woke up in the morning, and my wife, God bless her, I don't know if you can imagine this, she said, "You're going to the doctor.
Yeah. I can't imagine it.
At least
Yeah.
let's find out what this is."
Yes.
Now, because God has a sense of humor,
Yeah.
so I go to the doctor, and she says, matter of factly to her, "You had a heart attack." And I went, "Shut up."
Wow.
She went, "No, no, no, really." And oh, and by the way, the LAD, the one they call the Widowmaker,
Yes.
yours is 90% blocked.
Yeah.
And I said, "Can't be." She says, "No, no, here, look, look, look." So, okay. Now, because timing is everything, you understand.
Yes.
This is happening coincidentally when COVID is just hitting.
Yeah.
So, how COVID was hitting here in Dade County, Miami, where we're from,
Yeah.
the hospital has shut down. They are only seeing emergency patients. And for whatever's the reason, they don't consider this an emergency.
Wow. Wow.
So I'm on the phone with the cardiologist, and he says, "I got to figure out how to get you in." Now, this is the chairman of the Department of Cardiology at the hospital.
Wow.
You have to figure out how to get me in?
Right.
He
Right.
says, "Well, you're not an emergency exactly." Did you just tell me that I had a heart attack? Yeah, but you're not an emergency now. I
Well,
go, "Oh, okay. Okay."
yeah.
So,
But you mentioned the words widowmaker. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
well, yeah, right. Okay. So about 3 or 4 weeks later, I don't, he calls me, it's Sunday, and he says, "Tomorrow morning you have chest pain."
Okay. Yes.
And I said, "I do." He says, "Yes, tomorrow morning you have chest pain and you go to the emergency room." and I will have taken care of it by then.
Okay.
I
Okay.
said, okay. So eventually I follow instructions. I go to the hospital. The nurse, the intake nurse, she says, you're in pain. I said, yes. She said, oh, okay. This is rather strange. I said, what? She said, they've got a room set up for you and an operatory reserved for you tomorrow. And I said, all I know is I have pain.
Wink, wink.
So, yeah, wink, wink. Right. So, by the grace of God, the cardiologist surgeon is a pioneer of what they call minimally invasive bypass surgery.
Yes.
Now, I just have to tell you, minimally invasive is a euphemism. It means it's not done to you. So they didn't have, so the good news
They
really
didn't have to cut you open. Yeah.
they didn't have to crack my chest. They made a small incision here, a small incision on the, anyway, long story short, about a month ago, I went for my 2.5 years post checkup. I have now got the lab work of a healthy 45-year-old man.
Unbelievable. Congratulations.
Here's the, I think this is the point.
Yeah.
I'm a recovering corner cutter. And how I got the cardiac blockage in the first place was I'm also a recovering chocoholic. and so I thought that if you exercised enough and you took your supplements and you got adjusted and you did all that stuff, that you could eat dessert every night.
Right.
And mostly chocolate.
Yeah.
Thing. So the dietitian says to me, as she's reviewing my diet survey, she says, don't you have a master's degree in clinical nutrition, it says here? And I said, well, yeah. And she says, big lesson, ready?
Yeah.
She says, well, stop it.
Yeah. Hello.
And I went, huh?
Wow.
I went, just stop it. So my lesson, and anybody who's listening, wherever it is in your life that you think that there are the lessons for life that don't apply to you, I have some good news and bad news. The bad news is they do apply to you.
Yep, they do.
The good news is the willingness to bear discomfort is the touchstone of spiritual growth, and it won't kill you. You can change. You can change. You can change. And you only have to do it one little tiny piece of chocolate at a time.
Right. I love it. I love it. Oh, Larry, I mean, so I want to talk about cutting corners. And also, I spoke about, this actually recorded, podcast yesterday. And, we talked about how, coaches need coaches too. And this is exactly it. Just because we're coaches doesn't mean that we're perfect. We're human, right? We're spiritual beings in a human body.
You not only need a coach, but I'm here to tell you by example, and you need to be coachable.
You do need to be coachable.
It's one thing to be told what to do.
Right.
It's another thing to do it, to get your ego out of the way and just, my acronym, it's not mine, I've acquired it, and I'm going to pay homage right now.
Yes.
Joe Dispenza, the acronym is DTFW.
Okay.
It stands for do the effing work.
Yeah, and I love the way, the doctor put it.
Yeah.
Just stop it. And for so many people who are stuck in life, who are cutting corners perhaps.
Yep.
who, you know, things have been working just fine, so let me just keep doing what I'm doing, even though there's a little voice inside and a little pain somewhere that we ignore, we put on hold.
So
You know,
my again, the acronym I love for fine
yeah.
is effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. When somebody says to me, depending on their tone of voice, how are you doing? I'm fine. I'm just fine. Not so much.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah.
So I'm, you know, circling back, like it just so happens that not long ago, a month ago, my stepfather had the same
Ah,
issue and had
see.
the same operation through a
Ah,
different entry point. But talk about, you know, I watched him experience those moments of grace,
yes.
you know, and but I want to talk about cutting corners. How has that shifted for you?
Oh my God. I said I'm a recovering corner cutter.
Yeah,
I let me be as accurate and honest and authentic and transparent as I can be.
yeah,
99% of the time I do not cut corners anymore.
okay,
There is, however, because I'm human,
right,
on occasion, and the thing of it, just to answer the question, is when I cut the corner now, it's never the same because I can't pretend. Oh, I can't pretend. My go-to mantra used to be, I don't know. I don't know.
mm,
I don't
mm,
know.
wow,
I don't know. I don't understand.
yeah,
Well, guess what?
yeah,
I know,
yeah,
and much as I hate to admit it, I do understand.
right, right. To me,
And
that's the perfect definition of like personal responsibility.
yes,
Stop lying to yourself.
yes.
Like we are infinitely was you know, wise.
When the dietitian said to me, I see you have dessert 7 days a week. I said, well, yeah, with a master's degree in clinical nutrition. Yeah. Now, what I would have said at that point was, well, how's that working out for you?
How's that working out for you? That's classic Larry right there.
Right. And all I could have said at that point was, well, up until the bypass surgery and the heart attack, I thought it was working
Right,
fine.
right, right.
So the thing about cutting corners is huh, the life you live, the life you seek is just the other side of that corner.
Yeah. Yes, yes,
It's
yes, yes, yes.
it's
That's why
it's
we do what we do, don't we?
it's right
It's right
there.
there. It's right there.
And,
Often it takes
and
just one decision, just one decision.
listen, the decision was I got the invitation to come do this with you, and I had to change the appointment with my other business partner.
Yeah, yeah,
Nothing, nothing, nothing happens by mistake in God's universe.
yeah.
And you're either in the way or you're on the way. And it's up
Mm,
to you. You get to choose it.
right. Mm-hmm.
And just to complete the metaphor-ish thing here,
Right.
when the client or the client
Yep.
is pointing the finger over there, there's always three more fingers pointing back over here,
Absolutely. Yeah.
which takes a while to own up to,
Yeah. It does.
because at least if you've been at it a while, a few 24 hours,
Yeah.
and you've had these, I call them, my word, you can use it, these epiphanitos.
Yes. Sounds like a dessert, by the way.
So, yeah, right. So in case anybody's wondering, you know what an epiphany is. They're the ones that they change everything.
Yeah.
Well, an epiphanito, it changes things just enough so you can't deny it.
Yes.
But it still leaves you with some notion that,
There's more
no,
work to do.
yeah, yeah. And the point about epiphanitos is they are cumulative in their nature,
Hmm.
because, as I said a few minutes ago, you can't unsee the truth the same way you can't unring the bell.
Yeah, absolutely. It's these little signs
Yes,
that keep popping up to help
yes,
you see what you don't want to see,
yes,
that are going to help you make that transformation, whatever that transformation needs to be at that moment of time in your life.
yes. And
Mhm.
the other thing to that end, that I know as both coach and, I'm gonna swing out here and say team leader,
Yeah,
there is no I in team.
right. Yeah,
What a team, what that book was called, it takes a village.
yeah,
It takes a team to build a life.
yeah.
And I have a group of people who I'm blessed to have in my life. You're among them, who are my executive board of directors.
Yeah.
The book has a section called Where to Go for What.
Mm,
And the point about the where to go for what is, the lie I had to give up was I don't know.
yeah. Yes.
And I don't know, and it's too difficult, and you don't understand, and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because today is the only March 14th, 2024 we're going to get.
You're so right. I have to say that if there is one theme that is popping up in every single podcast I've been doing, especially this year, is that
Yeah,
is is the idea, the revelation, the knowing that the more we can truly understand that this moment is all we have and today is all we've got.
Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. This is it.
Yeah, this is
This is
it.
it.
Just just today, I was sharing with someone all of these epiphanitos that are showing up beautifully. Not because there's a lesson behind it for me, but for me, it's more the knowing of how connected I am
Affirmation.
and how
Affirmation.
I'm paying
Yes.
attention, right?
Yes.
And so these synchronicities are happening at an alarming rate and an alarming speed, which I love.
Yes.
It's just a testament to my own spiritual work.
Yes.
And but some of these moments where I've had the thought of, oh, I got to call this person, or the image of
And
them
then and
pops
then the
up.
phone ring, and then the phone doesn't even ring. You pick it up, and there they are.
There they are, or they
Yes.
call right after, and
Yes.
what they're sharing is
Right.
big, not
Right.
little.
Right.
And it's whoa, and
Yes.
um but I love living my life that way, and that's what I've actually like put out into the universe, like more of that, please. To me, that's living in synchronicity.
Buckle up and put, as I say, buckle up and put on your big girl panties and and go
Yes.
for the ride.
And the reason I even brought that up is because what came from a few of those moments was that there was a death on the other side of it.
Ah,
And so this revelation of it's today, what am I
yes,
going to do today?
yes,
What's going to make me joyful? Who am I
yes,
going to pick up the phone and tell them that I love?
yes,
How am I going to live in my purpose? How am I going to be fierce? Like,
Yes.
why are we waiting? Why are we waiting? I want to go a little deeper, and I hope you don't mind, and you can
Not
stop
at
me at
all.
any moment. But I remember after your procedure, you were in a very stuck place for a while, you
Well,
know?
yeah, I mean, they cut
And
they cut into my chest and they did stuff.
I know, but where I want to go with this,
Okay, sorry.
because
Yeah.
you are certified in NET.
Yes.
You and I both believe in the holistic way
Yes.
of living, of nurturing ourselves, of one thing means, leads to another. And the idea that there is an emotional reason behind everything. And we talked a lot about the heart, you know? And so I'm wondering, because of your wisdom about the emotions and how, they can cause certain illnesses,
There's a
issues.
great book from a guy in Texas. The title of the book is Anything Can Cause Anything.
Okay. Yes,
But
yes, yes.
that's too simple.
Yeah.
The point with regard to what NET and DeMartini's method and other tools that I've got in my toolbox are so useful for is they give clarity based upon the fact that the issues are in your tissues, that
Yes.
there is a tissue memory of every person, place, thing, idea, and event in your life.
Yep.
The recorder is always going.
Yes.
It's always recording. And you can access it in many ways because the creator who put us here set it up with this feedback loop
Yes.
so as to say, have I got your attention yet?
Yeah.
It's so the heart thing. There is an emotion on the NET chart on the heart acupuncture meridian. The emotion is broken hearted.
Yeah.
And I can say the word, and everybody that's listening or going to listen to this has their own descriptor of what it is to have your heart be broken.
Heartbroken. Hmm.
It can be the physical one because of the blockage
Blockage.
of the widowmaker.
Hmm.
It can be the emotional heart because someone let you down, you let you down, whatever. It can be whatever it is. The issue is that the heart pumps the blood through the body.
Yeah.
There's no way to live. Was that? I don't remember. Sorry. How can you mend a broken heart? Oh,
Yes. The song. Yes.
I don't remember who wrote the song, and I'm not going to sing it because that's not my superpower. But
I kind of want to sing it right now. Yeah, it's a good one.
but how can you mend a broken heart? You recognize it,
Hmm.
you identify it, you embrace it. Yes, embrace it. And one of my teachings is that healing is the spontaneous recognition of curse as blessing.
Hmm.
That in the instant when you recognize that the person, place, thing, idea, or event that you thought
Yeah.
was a curse, when you recognize the underlying blessing to it,
Yeah.
in that holy instant, you are healed,
Mm.
you are free. Now, here's the bad news: to move on and learn the next lesson.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
because that's the other point is, as long as we're on the green side of the dirt, I had another one of those moments some
Yes.
years before.
Yeah.
And when I came to, literally came to, the message I got was, because I was not a happy camper at that moment.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing. I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but epiphanies are not always met with joy and gratitude in the moment.
Yeah.
Like, if you're anything like me or any people I work with, sometimes the initial reaction is, oh, F, the, the F
Yeah.
thing. So I come to, I'm locked in the, anyway, I'm in the hospital,
Yeah.
and I was not full of joy.
Right.
In fact, quite the contrary. My initial word was, oh, that F thing.
Yep.
And the voice I heard, sorry guys, but I hear voices sometimes.
Yeah. Join the club.
The voice said, you're not done yet.
Mm.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Am I now glad I'm not done yet?
Yeah.
The life I've gotten to live,
Yeah.
the people I've gotten to meet and help and touch and be touched by, the places I've gotten to go, the lessons I've gotten to learn,
Yeah.
I don't want to be done.
No, of course not.
I
Yeah.
I don't want to be done.
Yes.
This is okay. Joe Namath?
Yes. Joe Namath, the football player. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. The book was called I Can't Wait Till Tomorrow because
Okay.
I get better every day.
Mm.
Ooh. Oh, I got chills right now.
I love that you say that because a lot of times, we look for, just today I was recording something about success leaves clues,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I just say that it's really important, I think, to sometimes for our own learnings, for those of us who are, on this eternal go-getting, ride, which are the people I work with, the people that you work with, it's like,
Sure.
what's next? I haven't finished. I haven't even gotten started, you know,
Right.
but being able to learn from those individuals who have experienced greatness, who have done great things that are
Yeah.
almost impossible, Joe Namath, and then of course he was in my lifetime. I'm not that young, but also, even more closely, Tom Brady, when you being
Right.
able to listen to them and learn from
I
them.
right now at this moment have a close colleague who is in RFK Jr.'s inner circle.
Wow.
I, all I mean by that is back to the 6 degrees of separation. I
Yeah.
mean, I personally have not met RFK Jr.,
Right.
but the wisdom that has come out of his mouth has been delivered to me directly, secondhand,
Right.
real time.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, whoa.
Magnificent. Yeah.
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 So I want you to share with everybody, because you're someone, I know it because I've experienced, I listen to you and you're, again, chock full of wisdom. I call you the king of metaphors. Like, you learn, and
Master of the cliche, I've been
yeah,
called.
master of the cliche. Exactly. Even
Yeah.
better said. And but you really do learn, right? You are a learner. You bring it all in, you hold on to it, and then you work with it.
My
But
dad asked me while he was still alive, must have been 5 years ago. I,
right.
I was visiting him at his place in California, and I had been on a call with a client. And I finished the call, and I'm talking to my dad. He'd never heard me, seen me, whatever, do whatever it is I do. And he said, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Clark, what? Yeah, of course,
Uh-huh.
anything." He said, "I hope you don't mind." I was listening, and I said, "No, it was fine." He said, "Where did you learn all?" And all I could say was, "Well, I've read some books.
I've read some books. Yeah.
I've taken some courses. Um, I've had some challenges,
Yeah.
and God blessed me with a virtual photographic memory.
Yeah. There you
So
go. Yeah.
there's stuff in here that sometimes
Yes.
I go, where did that one come from?"
Right. I can see it. I can see it in your eyes because you go back and it's almost like you're looking into your brain and
No,
it
not almost. I am.
you are and it
It,
spits
it,
out.
it, it's called eidetic imagery.
Okay.
It's a specific format for having a photographic memory.
Got
And
it.
when I was in medical school, there was another guy in class and me who used to have a lighthearted disagreement about on what line of the page the information was that the test came
Oh
from.
my gosh. Wow.
So I was like that. I
Yeah,
was,
you still are. You still are.
yeah. Actually, I still am. Yeah,
So for those individuals who are listening to this and going, wow, I mean, just this one fierce moment that he's, alluding to,
yeah.
and look at how joyful, you are and excited you are about your life. Um,
It's an amazing
sometimes
life.
it is an amazing life. And sometimes it doesn't happen overnight, like how long, right? Like
Right. That's why I
just
said I'm an overnight sensation, 68 years in the making. Yeah.
just this one fierce moment that you had from beginning to where you had an awakening, because I know you did after
Yeah.
it. How
Yeah.
long was that? How long was that period? There was a lot of work you did in between.
Which one? No, I mean that sincerely. So there's a book, another one,
Another one.
called Seasons in a Man's Life.
Yes. Okay.
It is written by the person who inspired um, Erica Jong to write Fear of Flying.
Okay.
The book is about what it sounds like it's about, is the seasons in a man's life. And so, that thing, that to every thing there is a season.
Yeah.
So I started out, I was going to be a psychologist because there was insanity in my family, literally.
Okay.
And I wanted to learn something about, like, how does this thing work?
Yeah.
And then I was drawn to becoming a chiropractor
Yep.
because there was that piece.
Right.
And then I got a master's degree in clinical nutrition because of that.
Yeah.
And then I got certified in acupuncture to get at the energy thing.
Mind, body, spirit. Yep.
But
All of
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
it.
so what was the question?
Yeah. From
You mean how long?
Yeah. It
Oh,
took you to
uh,
kind of process everything, make the changes, become a new version of yourself.
okay, okay. So right now, this is, and this is why I teach a 2-day program called Your Goodest Life.
Yes.
This is Larry Goodman 3.0,
Gotcha. Yeah, I believe it. I see it. Yeah.
because it's the third iteration.
Yeah.
It's the mind, the body, the spirit. Yeah, and here's the cool part. You don't have to, people say, I want to hold on to this stuff because you don't lose any of it.
Yeah.
It's like It's yours for always, for safekeeping and to I have a closet and there's a lot in that closet.
Yeah.
And then I have a file cabinet
Yeah.
and there's my daughter's terminology, there's a crap ton in that file cabinet.
In the file cabinet in your head. Yes.
In the head and the body.
In the head and the body. Yeah.
And it's in there.
Yeah.
And what I have learned, my mentor John DeMartini says, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah.
And so very often my top 3 high priority questions are, and there may be 4. What's the lesson?
Mm-hmm.
What's the blessing? What's the opportunity?
Yeah.
And then for me, it's become, and who am I supposed to share this with?
Right.
Because that's why I'm here.
Yeah. And I almost feel like that filing cabinet, you're right. Like, I feel like everything that we observe in some way energetically, whether it's energetically, whether it's through, our eyes, through our ears, through our sense of smell, we retain it all. And we're able to recall it at the right moment, at the right time, for the right lesson.
And the amazing thing about where we are now on planet Earth at this moment,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I started being a participant in this global thing. We were in Israel on a vacation, and I got a call from a prospective client who needed help, blah, blah, blah. And I am arranging with him I said, well, we're here in Israel, and here's when we get home. And he said, no, I need it now. Can't you, like, now? And I'm from the slow class sometimes, but I got the awareness, and I said to myself, if he doesn't care where I am when I work with him, why should I care?
Mm-hmm.
And so I started then
Yeah.
coaching, we'll just call it non-locally.
Right. Right.
Well, okay, so now this thing where we're doing this now, this Zoom,
Yeah.
one of my mentors who brought me to this place called it, because it's where things had evolved to at that point, he called it the laptop lifestyle.
Yes. Yes.
Now, by the time I'm studying with him, I've got this. And I say to him, I don't need the laptop. I just need this.
Your cell phone. Yep.
Yeah. And he said, yeah, but that didn't exist when I was teaching this thing. So
Exactly. So we're going to stick with the laptop lifestyle.
wait, well, yeah, you can still, his name is Ed Osborne. He's up in Vancouver. And you know what it is? You go with what you know.
Right.
And what's the other one? Oh yeah, wherever you go, there you are.
Wherever you go, there you are. Yeah, that's a big one for me.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
And this makes it so cool because I know your life is a lot cut from the same page and cloth like mine, which is like, I can be in the morning working with somebody in Australia.
Yes.
And then in the afternoon with somebody from London.
Absolutely.
And it's like, wow, how cool is that?
You know what's interesting, and this is I'll jump to this question because this is one question I'm asking everybody this season, the second season of this podcast, and it does speak to freedom, right? And this is from rooted in astrology. We're going through a critical moment
For sure
in our lifetime. That
critical with a big C and a little c.
Yes, yes. And this idea that Pluto shifting into a new sign will never happen again for the next 20 years. So it's a long period of time, long period of time to transform, to learn certain lessons, because Pluto is all about transformation, death and rebirth, right? And Aquarius is all about freedom and revolutionary ideas, technology, doing things in weird
And
and
it's
different
not
ways.
always very pretty.
No, and it's not supposed to be because, when
Right.
we look at it globally, we see the last time Pluto was in Aquarius over 200 years ago, we had, a lot of wars, and we're seeing it now, right? Because
And it's
people
not
want freedom,
always easy.
right? Not always easy.
And I'm here to remind myself and anybody who's watching this, it's so worth it
It is. It is.
because you're worth it. And
Yeah.
and if there's a thing that I love to remind people of,
Mm-hmm.
it is just that you're worth it.
Yeah. And you can
You're worth
design
it.
the life of your dreams. You can have
Yes.
the freedom you
You can do it.
desire.
Yeah, what, who's stopping you?
Exactly.
I
Right.
so my family of origin,
Okay.
my great grandmother on my mother's side,
Okay.
the wisdom come from that was she became one of the first female dentists in the United States. And
Amazing.
so here's the story. She goes to her father and says, "So I want to become a dentist." And he says, "So who's stopping you?" And then was like, "Well, this is, there's always a helping hand available
Mm,
at the end of your sleeve."
yeah.
Whew. Oh,
Oh,
oh my God.
that's powerful.
Oh my God, right?
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. So let me go back to this though, because the
sure.
question that I want to ask you is, and I feel like you're already on the precipice of this, we all are, so when I take this global thing of Pluto going into Aquarius and take
You
it
want to
to
know what I want for lunch?
no, kind of to the
Sorry.
personal level,
Yes.
it's our personal revolution.
Ah, yes.
So where's your next personal revolution within these next 20 years? Like, where do you think that's headed for you?
Okay. So we were on a cruise to Norway, Sweden, and Denmark last June,
Okay.
and I uh, I started working with a client from London, and he said to me that I needed to rebrand, and I said, what do you mean? What's the matter?" He said, "You need to be Goodman Factor Global." And I
Mm,
went, "Oh, oh,
okay. We're
oh,
really doing the Aquarius thing. You
oh my
go.
God."
You go,
I,
Larry.
I, I said, that's pretty ambitious undertaking." And he said with a British accent, he goes, "Well, you know, where are we now?" And I said, "Well, we at Norway, Sweden, Denmark," and I met him on the ship in the port in Southampton.
Okay.
And I said to you a few minutes ago about, clients from here, there,
Yeah.
whatever. And at the end of the month, we're flying to Tokyo, and then we're cruising around Japan for the cherry blossom thing.
Yes. Yes.
So
It's happening. It's already showing up. Yeah.
yeah.
And I want to say that to everybody, right? Because some people are like, well, how does this help me? Well,
Ah,
if you're paying attention, these cycles that you were talking about, I love astrology. As you know, I work with different forms of astrology, but it's
sure.
why I'm so attracted to it is because of the cycles of life, of our own evolution that it's pointing us toward. And so when a big shift happens like this, if you are already paying attention to what's showing up for you, guess what? There's some clues there.
And I'll offer this piece as well.
Yeah.
Coach to coach.
Yes.
It's much more graceful when you ask for help, if who you ask for help has already accomplished it.
Oh, yeah.
Because so much of the mess, I won't say just it can be avoided, but you don't have to freak out about it.
Exactly.
It's like,
There's a formula.
well, it's and either there's a formula or at least there's, uh, of my many superpowers, baking is not one of them. So do not give me a recipe for cake
Yeah.
and expect me to make a cake out of it.
Yeah. Know thyself. Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, and this is the key, under the heading of transformation and personal growth and unleashing your inner good man or woman,
Yeah.
I know that there is an underlying good man factor. That's why the company is what it is.
Yes. Yes.
That it's in you.
Yeah.
It's in you. And just because you don't know how to access it, get on a call.
Exactly.
Get on
There's
a
always,
call.
there's people, there's
There's
information, there's
people.
tools.
There's people. Listen, this is as near as a pitch as you're going to get.
Thank you, Larry.
You know, that's it. I mean, go to the website, check it out. There's the book.
Yes.
It's like, and if
Absolutely.
and
Yeah. And if you,
and
and
if
for those of
I'm,
you who are watching, it's right behind him,
yeah,
yourgoodestlife.com and
yeah,
thegoodmanfactor.com.
and if I'm not the one,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I can help you to find who the one is, or
Absolutely.
Monique is the one, because I learned a long time ago the big mistake of trying to be all things to all people is that you wind up then being nothing to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I am going to interact with someone, it's all about to see, what are we a good fit or not?
Right.
Because if we're a good fit, then great.
Yeah.
And if not, then not.
Exactly.
Let's find who is.
Yeah. So I can't believe
Go ahead.
we are already at the hour, but hold
Oh my
on.
God.
See, we always have so much fun.
Yes.
I do want to jump into one last thing though, because I think it's really important.
Sure.
I'm sure everybody has noticed in listening or watching that the way you speak, what you choose to say is very intentional, and so language is, I know, one of the things that you and I both kind of look at, when we're speaking of helping someone get to that next level
The
is
word you use, build the house you live in, I think is where you
absolutely.
go.
And
Yeah.
when we started our conversation before I hit record, I asked you how you were doing, and you said, I am in a continual state of awe.
Yes. Yes.
And I want everybody to pay attention to that, right? Because us humans, just like we get used to saying, I'm fine when I'm not, when someone asks us how we're doing, we're usually not saying things like, I'm in a continual state of awe. And just imagine if we got into the habit of speaking to ourselves and to others that way, how quickly our circumstances and our lives could change, right?
Like that.
And
Like that. Like that. Like that.
like that, exactly. But in closing, I would love for you to share, a couple of the ways that life is showing up for you, and how
Oh,
you are experiencing this continual state of awe. Share with us.
okay.
Let's hear your
Um,
magic. Hmm.
okay. So I mentioned that at the end of the month we're flying to Tokyo, and then we're gonna cruise Japan for
Yes,
the Cherry Blossom Festival, which definitely that does not suck. Okay.
that does not suck.
It
Yeah,
does
for
not.
sure.
I have a wonderful, loving relationship with my wife. I have a 33-year-old married daughter who lives in Seattle, and we talk and you get this, everybody, really, truly. We talk just about every day about anything and everything in the world.
Yes.
Anything and everything in the world.
Me
And here's
too,
the
with my kids. It's a blessing. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
and it's not only wasn't always that way. 31 years ago, at one of my darker periods, I wondered how in the world I was going to be a father to this little girl. How do you do that? Especially because I was getting a divorce from her mother.
Yeah.
And my now wife at the time said, with wisdom, she's a very bright young girl. You're very capable. It'll all work out. And that, okay. So what else is going on? Oh, my business is global.
Yeah.
It's it's not that it matters from a size standpoint other than just how you keep score, but it's like it's stupid big. You know what I mean?
Wow. Amazing.
It,
Amazing.
and I love every minute of it.
And that's what I love to hear, because that's what
I
I'm all
love
about. Yeah.
every minute of it, because if it isn't fun and it doesn't feel good, you're probably doing it wrong. And that is another one of those intentional truths that I live by.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I want anybody who's ever ready to listen, if it isn't fun,
Yes.
it doesn't feel good, you're probably not doing it right.
I'm going to add to that, because again, this is the Fierce and Flowing podcast.
Yeah.
If it's not fun and it doesn't feel good, you're not in flow.
For sure. Can I use that from now on?
Yes.
No, good.
Yes.
Good.
Absolutely. I'm going to use it too, with your permission, Larry.
No, for sure.
Yeah. You know, and that's why we're talking today, to be able to share, through our stories, through our difficulties, through our transformations.
That thing about a candle,
Mm,
it loses nothing when it lights another.
yeah. Oh, I haven't heard that one.
Oh, well, think about it.
Yeah.
You light the candle, you light another candle, it doesn't lose anything.
Right.
Love is like that.
Yeah. Ooh, love that. Well, my friend, I think our time is up, but I'm so grateful. And again, for those of
Yeah.
you who are not watching us, you can get in touch with Larry and learn more about his offerings at thegoodmanfactor.com. Also, yourgoodestlife.com. And he'll have a link there.
I'm very Googleable.
Very Googleable. Yeah. And so is his book, right? So
Yeah,
Fridays with
right.
Goodman.
Fridays with Goodman, right.
Yeah.
And Facebook, I'm on there, and yeah.
All the links. You're
All the
on there.
social media, whatever. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Larry.
And
I'm grateful to you.
Monique, I love you.
I love you too.
This
Thank
was
you.
so fun.
It's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun and feel good. So we're flowing for sure.
Flowing, for sure.
Yeah. All right. I'll catch you soon, Larry. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, everybody.